most awkward part of a video is the intro and the outro, because how do you even start a video? Welcome back. Ooh, I haven't made a video in so long. Anyway, welcome back. Oh my gosh. How do I convince people to subscribe to my channel by laughing the entire time? I don't know. Anyway, today we are doing a catch up. So I haven't posted in 6 months. Actually, I think it might have been like 4 or 5. I don't know. I haven't posted in a long time, and it's because moving and living on my own has been a lot more work mentally and it's just been a lot. It's been a lot, and moving has been a lot, and traveling for work, which if you've been here for a while and you follow me on Instagram and everything, you know that I do a lot of. So it's just been a lot. And like I said, my camera, like my last YouTube video that I did, which cringe, right? But the last YouTube video that I did, I shot it on my phone because because when I moved the camera, I don't know what I did with it, but I messed up some settings and everything that I shot was in slow motion. And the first time I made a video on it, I thought, like, I didn't notice that it was in slow motion until after, when I played everything back. And I was like, I don't want to redo all of that. And I was like, it's fine. It'll be fine. I can edit it. Bitch, edit it how? Edit it how? I tried to speed everything up like a dumbass. And I was like, well, and couldn't voice over it because I was talking in the video. So it was going to be nothing was going to match, you know? It was like, that's down the drain. I got upset. I got discouraged. I did film on my phone, which was really easy and fine, you know, no issues with that at all. And then life was like, and I said, life was like, clock in. And I said, oh, okay. And so I had to clock in, and so I did. And there's a lot of things that go into everything, which is what we're gonna get into. So that's today's video. So today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial. Ooh yeah, oh yeah, makeup tutorial, and we're gonna catch up, and I'm gonna give you all the life updates that I can give you. I don't even know what this is. I'm gonna give you all the life updates. I'm gonna give you some of the life updates. The big one being, why in the world am I moving, and when am I moving, and how am I moving, and blah blah blah, the whole story behind that, because I've talked about it on my Instagram, but not really a lot. I haven't talked about it a lot, so let's get into it. Alright, so to start off the makeup tutorial, I'm gonna kick it off with some, let me wait till I'm done messing around with my makeup bag. I'm gonna kick it off with some primer. So I'll just say this right now. I don't wear makeup that often. Like I wear makeup. I wear an everyday makeup kind of thing if I'm leaving my house, but I work from home. And when I'm not working from home, I'm going to the gym. Two things that don't really require makeup, right? So I'm not a makeup guru. I don't know that much. I know the basics. So this is just showing you and giving you an insight as to what I do and how I do it. And that's it. And if you see me doing something wrong and you're like, oh, Audrey, you would look better with this or with that, or you should try doing it this way, let me know. I always want to learn new ways to do things. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm starting off with some primer. I'm using this primer by e.l.f. And then I already moisturized, so I'm going to start with this, and then I'll go in with my, don't really use foundation, but I'll show you what I would use and then what I'm going to use. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started, girl. Let's catch up. So basically, let's just start with this whole moving to Charlotte thing, right? So this is how it happened. So basically, my company that I worked for, I guess, because we got bought out by one of our clients. And I'm trying to figure out how to say this in the least confusing way possible. So let's just start. Okay, so the company I worked for, which the company I worked for got bought out by one of our clients. That client's headquarters is in Charlotte. Okay, so we've worked really closely with this client for years. I mean, to be honest, the client I worked with 90% of the time, right? So these are like my coworkers essentially to me, because I'm like, I work with you guys more than anybody else. And so my boss comes in. We were traveling all of spring, and I moved in February, right? I moved in first week of February. Mind you, it took me, I started looking for places to move into in November. Okay? In November, I started looking for places, and I started to figure out what my budget was going to be. And then I started looking at places. I knew that I needed to find, I had a checklist of stuff. It wasn't very long considering my budget. But I did have like a little list of things that I felt were, for the most part, non-negotiable. Okay? And so I started looking at places, and it took me from November until mid-January to find a place that I felt like checked 85 to 90% of those boxes. So it took me a while. And once I finally found it, amazing, right? Weight lifted off my shoulders. And then I had an event I needed to fly. I needed my... bleh. Weight lifted off my shoulders. Move-in date, I had to schedule... Move-in date was tricky because I had to schedule a date that would work in a way in which it wasn't going to be after when my lease ended at my old place, and it also wasn't going to fall in the time. I had to have enough time to move between events that I was traveling to. So I had to really figure that part out. Once I figured that out, again, weight lifted off my shoulders. And then I moved in. Whole thing. Now I'm living alone. I have all these boxes. Scary, right? But I'm like, okay, cool. We're doing this. We're doing it. We're moving along. Not even, I want to say it had to be maybe like a month and a half into me living here on my own. Things are still in boxes, mind you, right? Like I've barely been here because I'm like here for a few days, for a week, and then I'm gone for a few days, for a week, and then boom, 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 boom. That was my spring of this year. And so I'm still trying to get acclimated to everything. And then my boss drops this news on us, right? She's like, we just got bought out by our clients in Charlotte. And so we no longer work for the company we've been working for the past few years. Now we work for them, right? And they're in Charlotte, right? I'm going to just keep reminding you like you forgot. But they're in Charlotte. So we're like, cool. What does that mean for us, right? Like, what do we got to do? And so she said, well, basically, it didn't really mean that much for us, especially for me, because out of everyone in the team, I worked with them the closest. So she was like, it really doesn't mean that much. You're going to keep doing everything you've been doing, except under a different name, essentially, right? And so she was like, however, because the company is based in Charlotte, she's like, she's like, I will be moving to Charlotte. And we were like, what? And so naturally we asked her, are we expected to move to Charlotte? Initially she was like, nah, you don't have to go. And that's still on the table. She was like, you don't have to go to Charlotte if you don't want to go to Charlotte. However, if you don't go to Charlotte, you'll just be basically missing out on a lot. Like, all of our teams are in Charlotte. Everything is in Charlotte. She was like, I'll be in Charlotte. You'll still be reporting to me. And on top of that, she was like, And if you decide you want to come to Charlotte, they'll pay for everything for you to move. Like they will pay, they give you a certain like amount of money, which is way more, I feel like, than you need, but very generous of them. But essentially she was like, yeah, they'll pay for you to come to Charlotte if you want to come to Charlotte, which she was like, if you can, I think you should, right? So I'm like, whoa. Initially I was like, no way, no way, no way. I just moved. I don't want to move again. But when she said that they would pay for everything, meaning packers, movers, the whole thing, my mind kind of shifted. Because then I was like, well, the hardest part about moving, aside from finding a place that fits your budget and checks all your boxes and stuff, which did take me months. Aside from that, it's packing everything and unpacking everything and coordinating the movers and packers and all that. The logistical side of all that is really the scariest and most terrible part of moving. Agreed? Agreed. So taking that off the table, I was like, well, why the fuck not? You know, I am a 29-year-old single young professional. And all I've ever done is live in Virginia and live in Nova. I only didn't live in Nova when I went to school for a few years. And then I moved right back to this area, which, no hate, Nova girl through and through, right? I love Nova. And I probably will get homesick. And I probably will miss it a lot. But I couldn't help but think about how amazing of an opportunity this is, right? Because not only... I've always wanted to live in the city. And I'm a strong believer in the fact that like you don't really know what you want until you know what you don't want. And I've always thought that I would be really happy living in the city, but I've never lived in the city, so I don't know. And the idea of trying to find a way to live in the city on my own like I wanted to, on my own budget, is just impossible, right, in this economy right now especially. So the thought that I can actually fulfill that checklist on my like bucket list of things to do in life with a very small amount of inconvenience to me is like, hello, what are you doing? Take it's the most amazing opportunity. I can't think of like it's just so low risk. Because what's the worst that can happen? I hate it in Charlotte. The worst that can happen is I hate it in Charlotte and I move back. That's the worst that could happen. So if that's the worst that could happen, I feel like this is very low risk, and potentially could be very high reward. Oh, thinking about it like that, I was like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it, right? So initially, well, as soon as I decided, I was like, okay, this is something that I should take advantage of, right? As soon as I decided that, my next question was then, how much time do I have to make all these decisions and figure all of this stuff out, right? Initially, I was going to move in August, but with my trying to line things up with my coworker, my lease here, and the office lease, it just didn't make sense. And also, seeing as though August is next month now, I can't even imagine moving next month. Like it would have been too soon. It would have been too soon. I'm glad I'm having more time here, more time to like wrap things up, wrap my head around the idea, get my logistical stuff in order, and then make the move, right? So really, that's the whole story basically. That's why I'm moving, and I'm planning to move sometime in December. And then I'll be in Charlotte hopefully after the new year or before the new year, and definitely gonna have to come back because I turned 30 in January, which I don't want to spend my 30th by myself, you know, so I'm gonna have to come back for that. But essentially that's that. Okay, the second thing I wanted to talk about on this video as a life update, The second thing I wanted to talk about was the gym. Try to make sure you can see. Okay. Is the gym. So the gym has changed a lot for me. If you've been following me on Instagram for a while, then you know that I've been going to the gym consistently, regularly, all of that since 2017. So 2017, it'd be 10 years in 2027. So minus 2, because we're in 2025, is 8 years. I've been going to the gym consistently for 8 years. That's a really long time, okay? And the gym has meant different things to me at different periods in my life, which I don't think that that's a shocker to anybody. I think for everyone, going to the gym starts out as one thing, ends up changing to another thing all the time, right? So initially when I started going to the gym in 2017, it was obviously to lose weight, and I wanted to be toned up, and I wanted to be, you know, I was like, I want to be all of that, right? And then it kind of remained that way for many years until I started to see a lot of progress. And even when I started to like fluctuate in my progress, it still remained the number one thing in my life. Like, I eat, breathed, ate, pooped, thought about, dreamed about, envisioned, everything that I did revolved around the gym at that time, like for a few years, many years. I was even a personal trainer for a little bit. Oh my God. I literally can't even, when I think about it, I'm like, girl, what? Yeah, I was a personal trainer for a little bit. The gym was everything for me. It was my entire identity. It was my entire life. Which, cool. Nothing about that is wrong at all. However, when I got this job that I'm doing now, which it requires me to travel a lot, and if you follow my Instagram, you know that, especially this spring, I'm pretty sure I was on a flight every other week. Like, I was traveling every other week. Just insane. Like, unsustainable, right? So when I got this job, the first year I gained, I want to say, anywhere between 15 to 20 pounds. Just because of the big, like, lifestyle switch. I couldn't go to the gym 5-6 times a week. I couldn't meal prep and watch what I was eating. I was traveling. Every event that I went to was just buffets, hotel buffets and buffets and buffets. And so somebody, like, when you're new to that environment, you get excited and you kind of get excited and you overdo it, right? I was eating a lot. I was sitting a lot. I was on flights a lot. The different time zones, the lack of sleep, everything played into it. The second year of that job, I was really determined to get back to being that gym girl, right? I was like, I don't care what it fucking takes. I'm going to the fucking gym. I'm keeping up with my routine and my schedule. And the reason I'm putting so much blush on is because there's not that much left in here, so it takes a while to like get it off the brush. I actually need to get a new one, to be honest, but this is my favorite. So yeah, the second year I was like, I don't care. I'm going to the gym no matter what, right? And I literally did. And if you, again, I feel like a lot of this is stuff that you would know if you followed my Instagram, because I've like, it's been a process, right? You've seen it. But yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that was true, because I was actually posting stories at the gym at like 3 a.m. when I had to be at work at 6 or 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. going to sleep at 12 and then getting up at like 4 or 5. It was just insanity. But I told myself, I thought at that time that the reason I had gained weight and the reason that I had fallen off was because I wasn't sticking to my routine, which obviously I'm sure played a part in it, but didn't end up being the reason. So in that time, I was like, I need to get back on my routine. I need to get back on a program. I need to get serious about things again, right? And I thought that the way to do that was to make absolutely zero excuses, show up to the gym every single minute and chance that I got, get zero sleep, and be super determined and focused. It did the opposite. It did so much damage that I feel like I hit rock bottom. Like when I think about rock bottom, I think about that time. It was truly awful. I gained a lot of weight, more weight than I had before. I got a bunch of acne, like bad acne all over my face. I was having panic attacks left and right. I was not good mentally. I was not good physically. I wasn't good. I was not good. And so recognizing that at the end of the season, which was like spring of 2024, I really had to take a step back, and I was like, okay, Audrey, Dre, things are not good. Things are not good right now. And the only way I felt like I was getting really desperate, you know, I was getting really desperate and really, really frustrated because I really couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I couldn't figure out what needed to change. I couldn't figure it out. And so recognizing that, I was like, okay, maybe what I need to do, sorry, what is going on with this hair, is, you know, I couldn't figure out what was going on. I couldn't figure out what I needed. I couldn't figure out what was missing. I was really frustrated. I felt a lot of desperation because I didn't have any answers. I went to the doctors even. I got hormonal testing. I got all these things. I got tested for a lot of things. I went to the dermatologist for my skin. I did everything. So come spring 2024, I was like, okay, I feel like the only way to figure out what is going wrong, what I'm missing, what I need, what part of me is like not aligning with the rest, is I need to like take a step. Okay, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing with my hair. I was like, I need to take a step back. I need to take a step back, and I need to isolate a little bit, and I need to focus on me. I need to do some inner work. So I thought to myself, and I was like, okay, well, how do I achieve this isolation? Like, what do I gotta do in order to get to a point where I'm like, all right, I can focus on myself and I can just dive right in and take a break and take a step back. And so, girl, summer of 2024, I went sober and I went celibate. No joke. Because summer 2023, I went crazy bananas. But summer 2024, I went sober and I went celibate. No joke. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was the best thing I've ever done. Because in that time, I was able to really slow down and really spend time with myself and really do some like reflection on, what do I want? What are my goals? What makes me happy? You know, like truly didn't have to do with anything else or anyone else except for me and what I wanted and what made me happy, what made me feel accomplished, blah, 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 right? I could go down that rabbit hole for forever. So I did that, and I started taking medication. Well, not taking, but it was like the ointment for my skin. My acne started to clear up. I lost a good amount of weight, obviously, by not drinking played a big part, but also just like getting sleep and everything. And so I was determined that when the season started back up in the fall of 2024, I was like, I'm going to do things differently. And by differently, I thought about it and I was like, I don't think trying to force workouts in while I'm traveling or when I have low sleep or low energy is doing anybody any good. So my new rule was that I wasn't going to lift when I was traveling, which I travel a lot. So that was a hard decision to make, because I was like, then when the freak am I going to lift weights? I still love doing that, right? But I told myself, I was like, you can lift weights when you're home, and when you're traveling, you're going to focus on three things. Three things to focus on. Those three things are going to be water, sleep, and steps. And that's it. And even, I can't even tell you, even just making that decision, even just saying it out loud and deciding then and there, I felt a weight come off my shoulders. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to stress about my back days and my leg days and this and that anymore. Oh my gosh, my camera's heating up. Hold on. Okay, maybe it just needs a little break. Maybe I'm talking too much. But yeah, so I made that decision, and basically, best decision I've ever made. It made a world of difference. I was much calmer. I was more... I was just functioning better. I had more sleep. I was drinking water. And if during the event I got to a point where I had free time and I was like, okay, I want to move my body, I was like, I'm gonna just run or I'm gonna walk, and that's it. For an hour, for 2 hours, whatever you want, 45 minutes, that's it. Mobility as well, that was a big one, because plane seats, why do I always do this? Plane seats are no joke, okay? So I truly was like, all right, this is the plan. And it worked. Dude, it worked. I felt so good physically. I felt like maintained physically. I felt even better mentally. And it was the best thing I did in the fall. Plus, you know, I was also trying to like find a place to live and everything. And then now that I've moved, so also while I was traveling and stuff, and I did this in the spring mainly, but I was paying for programs, which also added to the pressure, because I was like, if I'm paying for this program, I need to show up and do it, right? So I stopped paying for the programs, and I built myself a 4-day full body split, which was amazing. 3 to 4 day, really, which was amazing, because I felt absolutely no guilt when I had to skip a workout, because they were all full body. So all my body was getting attention every time I went into the gym, which also meant that my recovery was better, because no part of my body was like super sore the next day, unless I hadn't worked out in a few days. But it was ready to do the next workout the next day should the week pan out where I had to get all my workouts in back to back, right? It was going to be okay. Or if I could only do 2, it was going to be okay. Like, it was the best program ever. And especially for where I was at in the spring. Absolutely beautiful. So I was on that. And then once I moved, obviously I was still traveling until probably the end of May is kind of when things slowed down, and we're in July now, so it's been a month and a half. And so basically that also leads into like the content stuff, because when I moved, the first gym I went to did not allow tripods. And it also just wasn't like the gym just wasn't very welcoming when it came to content creation, which is perfectly fine, you know, like that is the type of gym for some people, and I respect it. And I respected them. And also I was just also not in a place to make content, because I was like dealing with so many things and trying to get used to my new like living situation and traveling and all that, right? So I was like, I don't even care. Should I have signed the year contract? No, because now I have to figure out a way to get out of that. But different story. Anyway, I got another gym membership and I love it now. And so I'm back to making content, which I love. I absolutely love making content. It's so much fun to me. I love editing and I love the camera, even though it doesn't always love me. But yeah, so now I'm back. I'm back on a 5-day muscle split, which has been so fun. I basically am calling it my building phase, even though I think it's most people's maintenance phase. But I'm calling it my building phase because I'm actually able to build muscle in this time, since I'm not traveling for work for a few months, and eat correctly, get enough protein in, get my, up my weight and all that. Okay, my camera keeps overheating, and I think it's like my Ring mirror that I'm using to do my makeup. So I'll try to be quick about the rest of this. I'm almost done with the makeup tutorial anyway. So basically, yeah, back to my muscle split, back to making content. That was how the gym switched up for me. And it was a pretty lonely process and road. I don't really know anybody else going through that or having to like figure that out for themselves. So I really had to do a lot of trial and error during that time. And I'm pretty proud of myself for like taking the step back and figuring that out. And I have to say, I feel really good, and I'm really happy with where I'm at with my relationship with the gym and everything. Okay. The other thing I said on my story that I was going to talk about when I posted on my Instagram story was my diet. So I said, it keeps dying. This mirror's too hot. I'm going to move it a little bit. Anyways, the last thing I said I was going to talk about was my diet. I said that I'm pescatarian now, which I guess kind of, but girl, if they put a carne asada in front of me, like, what the fuck? I'm going to eat it. Like, you're joking. Sometimes I intensely crave chicken wings, especially Korean barbecue chicken wings. I actually dream about those sometimes. The other thing I crave a lot is a turkey bacon club sandwich with extra mayo. And when those cravings come, there's nothing I can do. I have to satisfy them. I'm not allergic to meat. I'm just toning it down. And so yeah, so I think my diet is now, I will have to say, probably about 85, no, I will have to say like 90% pescatarian / vegetarian or whatever. And why, Audrey, why are you doing this? Why are you saying you don't want to eat meat and stuff? Girl, at my age, I'm 29. At this point in my life, I've tried enough things and I've done enough things that I'm starting to really figure out what my body likes and what it doesn't like. And I used to say that I was allergic to some meat because it would make my stomach hurt so bad. Turns out it's like mostly red meat and like carnes and stuff, but even chicken, like, it just makes me upset. It makes my stomach upset. You know what I kind of want to try? Have you seen on TikTok they have like the oil of oregano? It's supposed to like take out any like virus or parasite or whatever that you might have. We're just gonna keep restarting this until I finish the video. But basically, oil of oregano, I think I was saying, is supposed to help with that. But for now, to be honest, a pescatarian diet is very refreshing, and also knowing that it's not set in stone. Like, I can have meat whenever I want. I'm just choosing to, like, the groceries I buy and stuff is all salmon, shrimp, a lot of whitefish, tilapia, mahi-mahi, stuff like that. Halibut is really good. Just a lot of seafood. And it's really refreshing, and my body loves it. And a lot of that stuff is high in protein. You can just pair it with higher protein stuff on the side, or don't, or whatever, however you want to eat it. But my body's been loving it personally. Okay, I did my eyebrows while the camera was cooling down because it keeps overheating. Anyway, pescatarian diet has been really, really good for me. I feel great, and that's really all there is to say about that. It's just from trial and error and learning what my body likes and what it doesn't like. And yeah, I'm not saying it's forever. I don't know how long it will last. For right now, it's been really good. Okay, switching gears. On my story, on my story, I also asked for your all's life updates, and I responded to most of them, I believe, but I couldn't wait until the video to react to them because a lot of them were just big, right? And so I wanted to react then and there, and so I did. And if I didn't, I apologize if I missed yours, but they were great. Thank you for sharing with me. That was just fun. I feel a little bit weird trying to act like I'm going to react to them on this YouTube video, so I won't. But I will say, For those of you that breaks my heart, that have lost your jobs, had to start over, have gone through any type of breakup, my heart goes out to you. I feel like I've already talked about this to you if I'm talking about you, so like I feel weird reiterating it, but my heart goes out to everybody, even if you didn't share it with me, that has lost their jobs. I'm not going to get into politics right now because that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I love you all so much, and my heart goes out to all of you. I want to give you a big hug. Things are going to get better. Things are going to be fine. It's a phase in life, and my only advice is that if you are going through a hard time, I would really recommend taking a step back and not filling your space and your time with a bunch of low-level distractions, because even though you think they're going to make you happy, they're not. I'm sorry. Hard truth. But that's my advice, if you care. Other than that, those are my life updates. This is my makeup. Oh, I'm finishing it off with this. See, I moved the mirror and now the lighting is all off. Because it got freaking hot. Can you even see this? Anyways, it's the L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. So I'm going to finish it off with this. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I love you all so much. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe because your girl, turn those notifications on because I have a feeling that I might get back into making videos again because this is really, really fun. Whatever. See y'all later.